Everybody, this is Sean. Welcome back to my channel. Let me just turn the light so that you know I'm here. Hey guys. Hopefully everybody's having a great morning. I know that some people get upset when they watch the live stream and you can't see me, there's no light. People freak out. They say I ramble too much, and that might be true, but I suggest that if you feel that way, you probably don't want to watch the live streams. You probably want to focus on the pre-recorded videos. What's up, Doug? I rarely do the pre-recorded videos now. I've been running out of time. I probably do one of these videos like once a month. The pre-recorded ones, the live streams, anywhere between 3 to 5 times a week. If you are in the 2A community, and at least half of you are, there are some improvements on the California handgun roster. The Shadow Systems, I think the 900 series, there's like 3 of them that were barely entered onto the California roster, so you can buy them now. One of them is kind of like your Glock 19 clone, the other Glock 17 clone, and another Glock 17 compensated. They're not Glocks, they're Shadow Systems, and I think that they're built on a Generation 4, maybe 5, probably Generation 4 frame. The ergonomics, in my opinion, are much better than Glock, and that's what it appears to be. So I've been debating whether to buy one of those or not, but they made the roster, and if Glock doesn't do anything, if they continue to just keep the designs that they have and just forget about innovation, they're going to lose a lot of revenue, because the other their competitors are basically winning a lot of the bids, and they are winning a lot of the market, and Shadow Systems tends to be one of those competitors. Also, if you haven't voted yet, make sure that you vote out there. I vote for politicians that support private security, support our Second Amendment right to bear arms. Those politicians tend to be conservatives, Republicans, not all the time, but most of the time. And also, I'll be voting for Trump. I actually completed my ballot already. I just needed to drop it off. Typically, if you're in private security or law enforcement, you're probably going to vote amongst conservative lines. Not all the time. I mean, you should vote for somebody that's going to represent your interest, but most of the time that does involve conservatives. All this chaos in California, in Oregon and New York, Detroit, a lot of it's caused by lax liberal policies, but I won't get on a soapbox on that, I promise. What's up, Mike from the Professional Security Journal and the Security Body Camp channel? Welcome in. Okay, so I'm going to talk about certificates. I've been asked, I get asked this question once a month. Some people just don't watch the other videos, and that's okay. I mean, I have over 1,100 videos, and it's hard to find some of these videos. But those who've been subscribed to the channel for at least a year know that I talked about this maybe 7 times, maybe 10 times, maybe 15 times. I've done numerous videos on certificates. Sorry. What certificates are beneficial in private security? Well, it depends on what do you want to do. If you're unarmed and you want to work armed, guess what? And I don't mean to sound condescending, but if you're unarmed and you want to work armed, what certificate do you think is beneficial to you? Yeah, yes. I mean, I'm talking to myself. You need your exposed firearm permit. If you're in California, and if you are in a lot of the other states that require an exposed firearm permit. I mean, I think at least half the states require that. Yes, that's the certificate that you need. If you want to make more money, generally, armed security does pay more, just generally speaking. You want to have an armed exposed permit. With that, I am a strict believer, firm believer in de-escalation. And that has different connotations throughout the years. But anyhow, you want to use, I hate to say the word use of force continuum, but I'm going to use it here. You want to start using you want to use the least intrusive, invasive, most reasonable method of weaponry. Now, that starts with your hands, right? In contrary to some people's opinion, you don't have to register your hands if you are a black belt in karate. I for some reason that was taught to me when I was a kid. Like, you have to register your hands. Anyhow, going to the weaponry, guys, if you're armed, you should have pepper spray. Now, this is going to depend on the post, obviously. If you're armed, you should carry a baton. If you're armed, you should consider an electronic control device like your taser, baton. All of the less lethal options should be available to you. Do you need a bolo wrap? It kind of looks like a taser, and it shoots out this string that's supposed to tie somebody up, and it's supposed to tangle their feet or their arms, wrap them so that you can apprehend them. However, the goal with most or many private security contracts is to observe and report. You're not really trying to apprehend people. And I know an agency out here where I work at, and I hate to use anecdotal evidence, but they tried the bolo wrap for maybe a few months and they just got rid of it. But that's a topic of another story. But you want to have all of those less lethal alternatives. You want to attend some type of weaponless defense course. But those are the certifications that you should have if you want to be armed. I think that a CPR first aid certificate is very important. A lot of companies require that. But if you work for a company where the leadership has a lot of experience in law enforcement, private security, or military, I think that a TECC certificate will definitely serve you well. That stands for Tactical Emergency Casualty Care. TECC, which is the civilianized version of TCCC. I highly recommend that certificate because, let's face it, in this day and age, you have the potential for active attack incidents. You want to be able to close wounds as soon as possible. I just think that certificate is remarkable, right? Where can you find TECC training? We offered it not too long ago, and I think one of our guys from private sector from our channel showed up. It was available to really anybody. But look up online, TECC, Tactical Emergency Casualty Care. Sean, do I need to take a CQB active shooter course that's designed for law enforcement or security? Okay, so let me say this. My stance on CQB active shooting courses, it has actually changed over the last 6 months. I'm constantly watching these videos on different channels. One channel, for example, being AR Tactics. I think it's ran by maybe a current or former SWAT operator in Michigan or I think it's Detroit. I don't remember where exactly it is, but it's not California. Maybe North Carolina. I honestly don't remember. But I like the shoot house, which is basically force on force, not live fire. and I like some of the tactics that are taught. However, I'm constantly seeing customers approaching the clearing, approaching doorways, corners, with these like made up grips on their pistols. There's almost zero gun handling experience among these people who are taking the class. And I think that one of those courses, it's like a 2-hour course or a 4-hour course, depending on your package. Guys, CQB is taught, you should have a very minimum of 2 days. This 1-day CQB course package, it just doesn't work for most people. I thought it worked, but I didn't know better until I started to do a lot of training in it, especially with our guy Randy from Citywide Protection Services, Global Veterans, and other companies he represents. TAC 11. I started to realize that you need a minimum of 2. These CQB courses should be a week long. I just think that before you step into any of these courses, active shooter or CQB, you should have a fundamental understanding of gun handling, marksmanship. If you don't have those fundamentals, I don't think that you should be in a CQB class. It's not going to serve you well if you get into some type of lethal force engagement in a vehicle, right? And you don't know how to hold your firearm correctly, or you're clearing a threshold, you don't know how to hold the firearm correctly, and then after your first shot, you created your own malfunction because you didn't stabilize the pistol. Like, for example, a Glock is a striker-fired pistol, and it needs to be supported by bone structure, muscle and bone structure. If it's not supported, you are going to cause your own malfunctions. And believe it or not, if a Glock actually, it moves. Like you actually have movement. You have some movement of the frame. There's some, you're not going to see it, but there is slight movement. As a matter of fact, I think it was Gen 2 Glocks. It could have been 3. I think it's 2. I'm not a Glock fan. I haven't owned Glocks for 30 years, but I'll tell you this, that when some people would mount a WML, weapon mounted light, on some of the Glocks, and you torque the screw on the rail, the 1913 rail, there would be operator-induced malfunctions by that modification. So you tighten it up, and actually you would be creating your own malfunctions because the frame flexes, the frame moves. So if you're in a VCQB vehicle CQB situation and you are, quote, limp risking, you might get one shot off, and then now you're gonna have to deal with the malfunction. A lot of CQB courses don't teach you that, and you really wouldn't know unless you train regularly on the range. You wouldn't know how to effectively hold a pistol to prevent those types of malfunctions that are many times operator induced. Now, when we're done with global veterans and courses that have been offered in the past to private security, we don't say, like, we ask for your experience, but we don't demand a certificate that you completed some type of course on pistol marksmanship or rifle marksmanship. We don't ask for that. And we basically put it on the student. If you feel you're ready to move up to CQB, then you can go ahead and take the class. I think that's reasonable, right, for the industry. Who are we as firearm instructors to say who comes in our class or not? Now, obviously, if it's an advanced class or an intermediate class, you can require a prerequisite. But what we learned what we learned in our pistol, rifle, and shotgun post instructor course over the week. Some of these facilities out there, even post certified, they're just rubber stamping their signature on these certificates, and they're doing the students a huge disfavor. So when they show up to a class, you're thinking, hey, you know what? I trained with this person. I'm proficient, and I understand gun handling, at least at an intermediate level. Only to be surprised you don't. So I think if you want to attend a CQB class, I don't know of any entity or a lot of entities that are going to just say no, but at least get your basic pistol, marksmanship, gun handling skills down. If you're going to do carbine, the same thing. And you guys who have been training for a while, just watch those videos on that channel, AR Tactics. Again, I love the channel. I just don't think that a majority of the students should even be in that class, because they need to hone down on their marksmanship abilities and gun handling abilities. Let me think about some other classes, guys. So we talked about, if you want to work armed, you need a firearm permit course. You should take every weapon certification class that's possible. I know in Texas, you don't need a baton certificate, you don't need chemical agent certificate, but I highly recommend that you train under those weapon systems. So have a baton, have chemical agent, be able to know how to use it, get a taser certification, know how to use it, and get your CPR first aid certificate. On many job applications for private security careers out there, they're going to want that CPR first aid class. And honestly, it's just a basic level understanding, but I really recommend the TECC, the Tactical Emergency Casualty Care course. If you're prior military and you completed the TCCC course, you definitely need a refresher. The current standards involve not using those granules as a hemostatic agent. They're not. That's not currently being suggested right now. It's the gauze. So I really recommend even military take an updated class. If you want to get into executive protection, there are courses out there. I know that Las Vegas has some. I think in California there's an agency called Solutions International based at Riverside. I did enroll in their executive protection course. However, that course was hosted at SBSO, San Bernardino Sheriff's Office in California, on one of the ranges, and it was all their SWAT team. They got a full-time SWAT team, and I was going to be the only one that was not SWAT at that time. And I called to confirm, and then the manager over there apologized and basically said that SBSO canceled. Now, the thing is, you need the range, right? We needed that venue, so the whole class was canceled. I never took another class. I think DAG, Direct Action Group, they offer an executive protection course. Max Joseph is the person. He's the founder of DAG, and he developed the SUL method, SUL, which has been used in every single firearms course that just about every firearms course, instructor level course that I've attended, they talk about the SUL method. And I think Max Joseph brought that method maybe to Gunsight. But he is one of the founders of modern gunfighting. You can still take his classes. I think he has an executive protection course coming up. I never taken his course. I do hear some good things about his company. His company did cancel me, I think it's twice. I tried to take the CQB instructor course, which unfortunately is restricted to military and law enforcement. However, with special amendments, he might let you into the class. I think he wants you to take like a a couple of CQB classes, and look, and he wants you to take some of his tactical pistol classes for a good reason, right? Don't enter the CQB house unless you have basic understanding of gun handling, which goes back to the point of this original video. I'm sorry, this goes back to the point of this video. I don't remember the names of the executive protection training companies in Las Vegas, but in Las Vegas, you have a lot of desert area, you have a lot of open land, and you have a lot of area to explore with EP work. You probably have skid pans, you probably have driving courses out there. Sometimes retired Secret Service agents, they offer EP courses. I've talked to at least maybe 2 or 3 over the last 5 years, and I said, hey, look, there's a huge void in EP. I really think that you guys should start an academy, start your own training company. And nothing was done yet. Again, it goes back to venue, right? Where are you? Actually, you guys want to know where my EP training was? When I was a police explorer, we trained on the motorcade protection, and we participated in competitions. My advisor was on SEAL team. Oh my goodness, which one was it? It wasn't sick. It was either 1, 2, or 3. And then he went on. I think he became a ranger. That was advisor's experience. So I basically got tier 1. I want to say tier 1 training at a baby level. So then you might be saying it's not tier 1 training. Yeah, we'll just say that my instructor was tier 1. Best of the best, West Covina PD, 1990s. But that's where I got my EP training. And on my old website, crimebullet.com, CRIMEBULLT.com, I was offering EP courses in conjunction with some of my friends at that time who actually had that experience. But again, it went back to venue. Every month, for like 8 years, I usually get somebody that reaches out to me that wants an EP class. But since I've revamped my website, I took that off because I can't offer something that I can't offer. So yeah, if you guys are on Instagram, I'm under the Firearms Trainer. It's a good way how to connect with me as well. Hey guys, I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to read off the comments, but make sure that you guys watch the video. If you're just chiming in, and read all the comments. They're from good people. I got Mike, my good man, moderating the channel, so none of the comments here are going to be spam. All right, guys, take care and let me know what your thoughts are.